The next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board, and to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation. I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
Democrats couldn't stand up for that. The president tasking Congress with making his tax cuts permanent. But first, they have to avoid a government shutdown.
Let's bring in Oklahoma Senator James Lankford to weigh in on this. So, Senator, where are we in preventing a government shutdown?
Well, we are all staring at each other. That's where we are. That's what we love to do at this point as we get to this level of negotiations. So we've got a week and a couple of days before we've got to get another deadline. You know, this is a result of Chuck Schumer last year not bringing a single appropriation bill up to the floor for a vote in the Senate. Not one. They were all passed through committee with bipartisan basis. None of them were even brought to the floor. So it punted everything until the 14th of March. Well, welcome to the middle of March. That's happening right now. So a couple of options out there. Try to be able to pull a miracle out of a hat to get 12 appropriation bills done next week. Unlikely. More likely to be able to do what they call a continuing resolution. That is basically copied last year's budget, move it over to the next year on it. It's a pretty sloppy way to be able to do it, and it's really bad for national defense, but it's better than a shutdown. That's more likely next week. House is going to bring it up in the Rules Committee on Monday and probably vote on it on Tuesday. It'll land over in the Senate and see if we can get it done.
Senator, do you really believe that the House in unison, I mean, they've already lost one. Do they really think they're going to continue on with Joe Biden's budget and move it forward for 10 months into the Trump administration? I think they're going to have an exceptionally hard time doing that and sending it over to the Senate.
Every spending bill is a bipartisan bill. Every single budget. You saw this as well, Jason, when we were both in the House of Representatives. No such thing as a straight partisan appropriations bill or continuing resolution. You got to have both sides to be able to engage on that. What we don't know is all the Democrats that have been screaming for a government shutdown, if they want to have a government shutdown, same challenges we have. This is Biden's budget that's extending this out to be able to determine if this is the right way to be able to go, or if a government shutdown is better. Which government shutdown? I've been fighting for years to be able to end government shutdowns because they waste taxpayer dollars. You want to talk about a Doge issue? This is a Doge issue. We literally lose millions to billions of dollars every time there's a shutdown. We pay government workers for not working at all during that time period because the law says they still have to be paid. You got to shut down agencies, restart them. American people can't get answers to questions. It's nuts on it. And we look terrible on the world stage saying we can't get anything done on it. So we've got a bunch of bad options in front of us that are left over from last year.
So, Senator, I understand that there's lots of negotiation that has to go on. Of course, the margins in the House are very slim. But given what the president said last night in his address about needing to move forward with his agenda, it seems like it'd be pretty unacceptable to the White House to move forward with another year of Joe Biden's policies, which have gotten us into this position of a Biden hangover with the economy.
Yep, it's going to be interesting. So the White House is actually engaging behind the scenes with the Speaker and with John Thune to kind of talk through what are their preferences, how to be able to do it. There's a way to what they call anomalies. Welcome to geeky Senate terms here as we go through this. That is last year's budget, plus a few things that might be a little bit different on that. And so this is not earmarks. This is not all that craziness. This is additional elements to say, but this is going to change, this is going to change. So it's not exactly the same on it. So that's going to be part of the fight as well behind the scenes to be able to determine if we move over just the numbers, then what actually has the anomaly that's going to actually change a little bit as well in the process. That's the White House engagement right now, as well as the Speaker and John Thune, the leader of the Senate.
Senator, real quickly, zero Democrat senators voted to keep biological men, I just call them men, out of women's sports. It's just unfathomable to me that this would happen. What's your read on how in the world did they do this?
Yeah, I was actually back on the floor of the Senate today talking about that same issue again. I'm a dad of two daughters. They were both athletes in middle school and in high school. I was one of those dads driving daughters to cross-country practice at 5:45 in the morning. It was awesome. So they're athletes, but when they trained together, it was the guys and the girls all trained together in track and in sports. But when they compete, it's the guys in one area and the ladies in the other. And it's pretty obvious why. You look at last year's Olympics, for instance. the gold medal winner for the ladies marathon, the gold medal winner, best in the world right now for gold medal. If you went over to the men's bracket for the marathon, the first 67 men that came in would have beaten the ladies gold medal winner in the marathon. Okay, it's not diminishing sports on this for men or for women. It's just when you put them together, the bone density, the muscle tone, everything's different from men or women on it. And the reason we have women's sports is to be able to protect women. It seems the entire American people get this issue, except for the Democrats in the Congress. They don't seem to get this issue. They're just pandering to their far left base on this. The rest of America, Republican, Democrat, Independent, all say, of course we should have ladies' sports and to be able to protect women and girls in sports. Why is this so hard?
It seems like Democrats are for mediocre male athletes going over to the women's category so they can score a few points they wouldn't otherwise in their own category. Not to mention predatory and the whole locker room situation, but we can have that discussion another day.
Yes, Senator James Lankford, one of the hardest working people out there. I know because I sat shoulder to shoulder with him in the Congress for a number of years. Great man.
Good luck with the budget.
Good luck.
You bet. We'll see if we can get done. Thanks, y'all.